Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the Providence City Council State Legislative Affairs meeting. Today is June 9th. Thank you all for being here. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Chairman Gonfalves.
Here.
Vice Chairman Taylor, absent. Councilwoman Harris.
Present.
Councilor Kerwin.
Present.
Councilman Espinal, absent. 3 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you all for being here. So, Madam Clerk, would it be possible to call item number 1 to the roll here? It's the record.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6603, an act relating to education, access to advanced placement courses for all students act.
So I can start here because there's a lot that's on the docket, but I'm just going to kind of share a brief overview of each of these bills because it's been a while. But this act would essentially establish a process for the Community College of Rhode Island and Rhode Island College and University of Rhode Island to accept college credits and advanced placement subject test scores of 3 qualified or better advanced placement courses, and the University of Rhode Island's College of Engineering would be exempt from this process. So that's essentially what this bill would do. I had conversations with the sponsor about this particular bill, and I hear that it's still being, they're still having conversations regarding this bill up in the House, but it will hopefully be heard relatively soon. So I'd like to make someone would like to make a motion passage for this particular bill. We can move it forward.
Second.
Great. So motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, motion seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on to item number 2.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6614, an act relating to criminal offenses, large capacity feeding device ban of 2022.
So for Madam Clerk, I'd like to get an opinion on this. So there are 3 items that are all connected. Is it possible for us to potentially waive the reading on items 2, 3, and 4 and take together?
Yes, so I would do it, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
can I, is there a council member who would make a motion to do that?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, motion seconded by Councilwoman Harris. So essentially, all these bills are related to some of the gun legislation that's being proposed. In fact, all 3 of these bills were currently passed out of committee today. Yeah, so is this something that we would like to continue indefinitely, or do you want to take a vote on it tonight and send it before the full council?
Are you saying it was passed out of the General Assembly tonight?
These House
And
bills
they
were
were voted on?
correct.
Okay, absolutely. I mean, if they voted out of the General Assembly, let's see why.
So would you like, so motion made to waive the readings of all 3 items and also pass out of this committee to bring back to the full council for a vote. So that seconded by Councilwoman Harris. So that's items 2, 3, and 4. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. All right. So item number 5.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6621, an act relating to education, children with disabilities.
So this act would create a local advisory committee on special education in every school district to advise the school district on matters concerning the unmet needs of students with disabilities.
They don't use the IP. They have Mr. Chair, sorry. They don't use the plan anymore for.
You're referring to the IEP plans?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so this, they would still use the IEP plans. So that would certainly be, a part of whatever ongoing conversations related to special education our teachers or students or families are having. Essentially, what this particular act would do is just simply create a local advisory committee to make sure that if there are any unmet needs for students with disabilities, those needs could be met.
There's no counseling anymore?
There's still counseling, so all the, services that are currently provided would still be provided. This is just essentially creating some kind of oversight advisory committee to make sure that no student with disability falls through the cracks. Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. All right, so that will go back to the full council for a vote. Item number 6.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6634, an act relating to taxation, sales and use taxes, liability, and computation.
So this particular act would exempt bicycles from sales and use tax. So it's pretty straightforward. Motion made to pass and bring this to full council.
Oh, I can't second, but I do have a question.
Yes,
If there's no objection, can I be added as a sponsor to this one? This is number 6, right?
absolutely.
So,
Thank you. And can I be added to number 5?
Motion made for passage.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin. Motion seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Guys have it. All right, item number 7.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6657, an act relating to highways, solar panels.
So this act would establish an advisory commission to determine the placement of solar panels on median strips, on interstate highways, in Route 146 and other locations. And this would be funded by American Rescue Plan Act dollars.
I'm a big for solar panels. I'm really big on that. I don't understand the highway part of it. Can you explain a little more when you say on the highway?
Sure, so I wish the sponsor was here to speak about it, but I can certainly elaborate. I think what they're intending to do here is essentially create a commission that would help determine where the solar panels would go on the interstate highway. And that would simply bring some energy back to the grid. And they're seeking to do this utilizing funds from the ARPA federal dollars that are coming in. So it wouldn't be funded by the state, but in fact by the American Rescue Plan. So that's it
You
in a
think it
nutshell.
create jobs?
I would defer to the sponsor on that one, at the house level, but I'm assuming, if these places were determined and these solar panels were to be installed, I'm assuming it would create some jobs, some local jobs. But I don't wanna,
I'm just excited about the new direction of energy, around energy, and I know we're way behind compared to other countries. So anything that is pushing, especially solar and windmills, I'm just fascinated with that offshore. You know,
Absolutely.
so I'm hoping that this would lead to something other than just a panel with opera money talking about it.
Mhm.
So I'm
Absolutely.
hoping that the opera money means that we are training people or looking for ways to really invest in, so really get serious about it. Councilwoman Miller and I go way back to the environmental stuff, way back, way back. And so this is a long time coming, you know, for us to. So.
Absolutely. And the
It's
fact
making
that,
me interested in trying to run there, make sure they're doing the right thing.
oh yeah, and the fact that the federal government is funding more of this infrastructure seems
Mhm.
very promising, so.
Sounds good.
Do you know where the bill is at all?
This bill, I think, is still stuck in committee, but as you can imagine, there's a lot that's coming out of committee in the next couple of weeks up at the state house, so
Yeah,
might behoove us to move forward on this, or,
yeah.
but I obviously defer to all of you as my colleagues, should we recommend passage to the full council?
Yes.
Okay, motion to recommend passage from Councilwoman Curran, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item number 8.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6665, an act relating to education, federal aid.
So this act would require free lunches to be provided for all elementary and secondary students attending public schools to the extent that state and federal funds are available.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I don't know, maybe there's.
No, I'm just surprised. Kids are not eating in school. I mean, we have to put a bill through to. I mean, I'm being kind of time, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Councilwoman, so what I wanted to ask was if there's no objection, if I could sign my name onto this bill 1,700 times.
Yeah.
So this is, this gets back to parents
Mm-hmm.
receiving bills and their kids not being able to eat lunch in schools.
Kidding me.
I am not. And I cannot believe we're still doing this, and I'm really thankful for the sponsors of the state.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, for real. I didn't know. I mean.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
know.
being ignorant. This
No,
has
you're
been
not.
years and years with.
It shouldn't
No,
be.
with children, you know, so I don't know the system right now, but it should, we should be feeding children, especially in schools. So I also like to go sponsor this.
So we're
Councilor
adding
Kerwin, did you say that you were?
Yeah, I would love
two
to.
co-sponsors
Okay.
here.
We're very interested in this.
And the lead sponsor for this at the state level is Rep. Ringley.
Oh, okay, well, so
So-
she's an educator.
Yeah, and so this has been something that I know she's very passionate about. And to your point, the fact that this isn't already a law in the state is something that she's trying to address. So motion to pass this and bring this back to the full council. Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin,
Second,
motion seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 9.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6666, an act relating to education, health, and safety of pupils.
So similarly, this act would establish the implementation of trauma-informed practices in schools throughout the state.
But I'm sorry, what does that mean? That means that something happened and the kids don't get counseling. That's what that means? I agree with this 100%. I mean, some places do already, right? Like far out in other areas.
This is Brandon Russell's, and
Yeah.
I think she introduced that
She
after,
must-
after yesterday, the first day of school a few years ago.
Yeah, she must know.
And this still hasn't passed, and obviously if the full council comes on to support this can very much have an impact on what they decide to do before the session ends. So I think it's a very important bill that's been sitting in committee for a very long time, so it's important.
Mr. Chair, are you talking about number 9 or number 10?
This
You're
is,
talking about that.
this is number,
Nine.
this is number 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're on
We're
number,
on number 9.
we're
Are
on
we on
number
number
9.
Okay,
That is
that
the
is,
The high school.
Number 9 is the health and safety of pupils.
yeah. So we passed that one, didn't we?
Right.
No, no,
Okay,
we
that's-
read
that's-
9 into
that's-
the record.
So, okay, so, well, I guess we're having a discussion about number 10, so can we close that one out and then move on to number 10?
Yeah, we should close out number 9 and
Okay.
then move on to number 10.
Okay,
Yes.
great, so any motion to pass number,
Number 9 is
Nine.
just about high-speed internet in schools.
yes, correct.
No
Well,
objection.
Number 9 is,
Yes.
Says access to high-speed
yeah,
internet.
that's what it's about.
Every K through 12
Mhm.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, motion for access, high-speed internet.
Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself.
That's okay. I got a little
Oh, we're on the-
confused.
We're on the roll, the school.
Okay, so motion to pass number 9, okay, motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You guys have it. All right, number 10, I think we can, maybe, can we waive the reading of number 10, or should we read it again?
Well, we haven't read it, so we read number 9.
Okay,
and
got
then-
it, yeah, it's just, okay.
Yes.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-6667, an act relating to education, health and safety of pupils, trauma-informed schools act.
So this is the one that we just discussed.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea of, I really would like to put that, say, have some testify, Elizabeth. Yes, absolutely. I mean, especially what we see in schools now. I mean, kids are traumatized in more ways than what we think, because they may show back up at school, maybe for a test the next day, and not really being able to, articulate what is really going on inside. So I think every shooting, everything that relates to, even if it's a death of a teacher, I think that has an impact on children because they're a little bit more sensitive than us hardcore
Oh, yeah.
people. So,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I really support this.
all right,
And
so
I'm excited.
can we consider that a motion? Motion made
Motion.
by,
Motion to pass this out of the
so
legislation.
motion made by Councilwoman Harris, motion seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Motion.
Councilwoman
item-
Harris, were you asking to be a co-sponsor as well?
Yes, ma'am, if you don't mind.
Item number 11.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7125, an act relating to capital development programs for education statewide referendum.
So this particular bill would allow the approval of the state to issue a general obligation bond not to exceed over $300 million over a 5-year period for school infrastructure projects.
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman,
This one is being held for further study, so I don't know if you want to, I don't know how the committee wants to deal with that, but it's not going to get a vote this year, I don't think.
Well, anything to do with bonds, I'm not sure to know more about it, because it affects our constituency, when it comes to bonds.
so it sounds like we want to continue that one indefinitely. Motion made by
Councilman Harris,
Councilwoman Kerwin,
second.
seconded by Councilwoman Harris to continue that item. All in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item number 12.
Resolution opposing passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7384, an act relating to highways and sidewalks.
So this is an item that was sponsored by Councilor Salvatore. This would be in opposition to this act, which would require that the maintenance of sidewalks along state highways be the responsibility of the state. Such maintenance shall not include snow removal, sweeping, and cleaning. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this matter? Sure.
I mean, not to make our meeting longer, but we've all seen like the shoveling end at the highways is the most frustrating thing for all sorts of access reasons, all winter long.
Yeah.
Great. So is there a motion to
Motion.
move forward with passage? Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin,
Second.
seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item number 15.
13.
Yeah, so this is really bizarre here. So item number 13 is,
It's just a different resolution for the same bill, I guess.
yes, so
I see what you're saying.
should we,
We should read it.
I'm happy to, it happened a month later. Sure, should we read that one?
13. Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7125, an act relating to capital development programs for education statewide referendum.
So, Clerk, can I make a motion to withdraw number 11?
You can ask for a
Was that-
You
motion.
could ask for a motion.
You can't make it.
Okay.
You can
well,
ask your
can I
committee.
ask the committee to
I'd like to make a motion that you withdraw.
withdraw number 11? The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm the lead sponsor on number 11.
Okay.
Councilman Vargas is the lead sponsor on number 13. We agreed to pass,
You held it, that you continue
to
to.
continue
Correct.
indefinitely.
Yeah.
I will withdraw mine and I will keep his, but let's continue that one indefinitely. Does anybody make a motion to continue number 13 indefinitely?
Yes.
Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And that way, he could be the lead sponsor on that one.
So no.
Item number 15, 14, excuse me, sorry, getting mixed up here.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7476, an act relating to public utilities and carriers, Public Utilities Commission.
Got any information?
Call for further study.
Okay, yeah, I think we should, continue definitely.
This matter definitely?
Yeah.
Okay, motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin,
Second.
seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 15.
Oh, wow, we finally got.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7484, an act relating to state affairs and government, healthcare for children and pregnant women.
So this resolution is endorsing an act that would expand the Right Track program to provide healthcare coverage to children 2 and up, to up to the age of 19, funded by federal funds. If available or not available by state funds. Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin to move forward. Seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 16.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7509, an act relating to labor and labor relations, Consumer Credit History Employment Protection Act, Deceptive Trade Practices.
So this is interesting, when I looked up this particular bill, the number doesn't match the actual bill.
Ooh.
So I think this is probably one that we should continue.
Sure, it does,
Continue indefinitely or continue?
so it does match, I would say, but it was held for further study by House Labor.
Is it
7509?
7509?
However, they're not gonna move on it this year.
Yeah, you should.
So for some reason, 7509, I have that as relating to education, protecting student privacy on school-owned technology.
And that relating to labor and labor relations, consumer credit history, employer protection.
It could be,
I'm all for it.
so can motion to continue this item?
Continue indefinitely or just continue?
I would like to just continue it so we can get more information from the sponsor.
Motion to continue.
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item 17,
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7575, an act relating to labor and labor relations minimum wages.
so this act would repeal the law that prevents municipalities from establishing their own minimum wage for their employees.
I'd love to co-sponsor this, Mr. Chairman. That's okay.
I don't assume that there would be an objection from the lead sponsor, so. Any discussion on this topic, this item?
If the councilwoman who works in labor standards in that bill, I somewhat would like to, trust that opinion.
Okay, so
Yeah.
motion made by
Yeah.
Deputy
motion.
Majority Leader Harris,
Yes.
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chair, may I also join this bill as well? Please.
Thank you. All right, item number 18.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of Senate Bill 2022 S-7006 and House Bill 2022 H-7708, an act relating to motor and other vehicles, operators, license, safe roads, and mandatory insurance.
So this was brought forward by Councilman Espinal, and this act would allow the Division of Motor Vehicles to issue driving privilege cards and driving privilege permits to applicants unable to establish their lawful presence in the United States. The driving privilege cards and driving privilege permits would not be valid for identification purposes, but would allow folks who are undocumented to drive motor vehicles.
Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
So I would love to co-sponsor. I would also just say that communities across the state have been fighting for this since Donald Carcieri was governor. And it's well past time. Many for a variety of great reasons. Many other municipalities and states have figured this out.
Where is it at? Do you guys have any idea?
We need help for further stuff.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So does that mean if we pass it here, that it puts a little bit more pressure on them?
So if we pass it here, it would go before the full city council.
I know what
for
happens
vote,
inside of
and-
here, but
and
what
then-
happens at the state house?
So if we,
It's by further studies.
if we do pass it here, the resolution would be transmitted to the members of the General Assembly, both at the state and the Senate and the House level. And it would essentially signal that,
We are in support of it.
yes.
They already
the
voted
Providence
on
City
it,
Council-
Yeah.
if it's held for further study in committee, so it's already like dead in committee until next
Until
year.
next year.
It doesn't
But
hurt, right?
it's likely to come back.
Okay.
So
Thanks,
we,
motion to pass.
motion to pass or motion to continue?
Motion to pass.
Motion to pass. Okay, motion to pass by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, all in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 19,
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7813, an act relating to taxation property subject to taxation.
this act would allow the host city or town to impose a 2% tax on the endowment of a private institution of higher education to be used only for the host public school district. The lead sponsor is, I believe, Rep. Morales at the state level. This is largely because over 40% of properties in the city of Providence are tax exempt, many owned by large tax exempt higher education institutions. And so this bill would essentially allow for the city of Providence and other municipalities to impose a 2% tax on the endowment of those private institutions. Just so folks are aware also, Brown, just to name them, is one of the largest tax exempt institutions, has a $6.9 billion endowment that grew 51% last fiscal year. If they were to be assessed, or if they were to be taxed like every other commercial property owner or landlord, that would be roughly about $48 million to the city coffers every year.
Boy, so we fix sidewalks.
This would, yeah, this would just be for a tax on their endowment, but this, other municipalities have explored things like this, or other states, I should say, giving municipalities the enabling legislation to be able to move forward with this kind of thing. So it's a very interesting bill.
So they got lobbyists up there, no doubt, Brown, to counter that. Because how have they been getting away with that all? I mean, this has been a call for a very long time for Brown just to pay their fair share. And it has not been anything that they have been able, I mean, I know they've been trying to push for this for a while, so.
And it would likely get caught up in the courts. But it's an interesting concept that state legislators are trying to push forth. It's not just in this state, there's some state legislators in other states.
Sure, I mean, really, it's like the people bleeding and there's no band-aid that they offer, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Really, I mean, first of all, I got an issue because of the housing they are able just to have, and the fact that they have grown beyond education, but they have moved beyond that, you know what I mean? Create more and more profit. I mean, students are really paying money for where they live, you know, so it's no, nothing being given back, there's no incentive, you know, for them to just not pay anything, you know, there's nothing they can counter, like, well, we don't have to really pay that because we give students, you know, a break every now and then. We don't hear any of that. So I'm all down for this, whether go anywhere or not, I want to protest. Yes. I'm just down for it.
So, yeah, count that
Yes,
as a
yes,
motion
the
made
motion.
by,
Yes, absolutely, that was a good motion.
Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 20.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7956, an act relating to taxation property subject to taxation.
So this is similar, this act will place limitations on the tax exempt real and personal property of private nonprofit colleges or universities.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like we might need to amend the actual resolution. You're missing a 7. Assuming you don't want to pass it and send it back to council. In the actual body of the resolution, it just says House 956 instead of 795.
Great call.
I know.
Great.
Eagle eye over here.
All right.
Thank you for-
Yeah. Great.
So, motion to amend,
Yes.
some committee members.
A motion to amend.
Second.
So, motion to amend by Council, Deputy Majority Leader Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Curran. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So now we have to make a motion for passage
As amended.
as amended.
Motion.
Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin.
Second.
Seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 21.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7607, an act relating to education by literacy seal.
Excuse me, here, I'm just
No, that's
making
okay.
sure I have the right bill here. So I don't have the description on this one, but I, sure, yeah,
So it looks like it's just a bill that would allow for Rhode Island students to get basically a advanced placement credit into college. if
oh,
they,
yes, that's what it is.
Took a language and had proficient skills in high school. So it's a free learning in college, basically, which is nice.
Yeah, with that, the state does thing have the seal of high literacy. I do not know what qualifies you for it, but it's more than just like taking, it's more than just like I speak Spanish or whatever. It's like, so it's like some advanced language learning stuff. That's my official explanation.
Very cool.
Great. So would someone like,
I would like to motion.
motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin,
Second.
seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 22.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7916, an act relating to libraries, state aid to libraries.
So this act would require that the state share to support public library services in this fiscal year, or fiscal year 2023, be fixed at 25% of the amount appropriated and expended by the city or town in the second preceding fiscal year, utilizing funds from the general revenue supplemented by the ARPA funds. So it's essentially 25% to support our public libraries. Making sure that we can make do on that.
Now, the state doesn't support right now any of the library. you know?
They do, this would simply mandate that those funds are appropriated.
Okay.
Right now, there's no specific legislation that mandates that those funds are appropriated to public libraries.
Okay,
So as you can imagine, it's a tricky funding challenge for, in our community specifically, in the Providence community libraries. I know we all have libraries that
right.
service people in our ward, so.
And they always, I mean, for us, they always seem like they have a burden. And they always come into the city, you know, looking for it, and they can take some of that away from us, you know what I mean? It's not like we don't
And that's
pay our fair
partially
share,
because
but,
they're not fully funded
they're
sometimes
not
by
fully
the
funded.
state.
And it's like a state system too, like I borrow books from like South Kingston, come to Providence for me all the time.
Mhm.
You know, you can like do that borrowing.
Right, right, yeah, absolutely, but at the
I
same.
don't, but.
No, yeah, borrowing from other libraries.
Not
All I know is that personally, society and council, libraries have been struggling, and they definitely lean a lot on the city with everything that we try to be, you know, resourceful towards. This would be able to take some of the burden and then have, like you say, some type of assistance of how the funding get allocated.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
And as we saw this, you know, this past year, the community libraries had asked that we bump up their allocation from 500,000 to $1 million.
Right.
Because they were just trying to get by, and
Right.
if the state put a little bit more skin in the game, that could help alleviate some of the burden from the city, but also just help our libraries to flourish and service the people that.
We need
service.
libraries.
Yeah, they're very important.
Mhm.
And I know that, you know, programming has been affected because of lack of funding. It's a huge service that they provide, whether it's internet access to, you know, folks who are struggling in our communities, or people who just want to, you know, take out a library book. So it's a good policy that's being proposed. Is there anybody? Okay, so motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 23, we're almost there. Sorry, this is a marathon, but.
Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2022 H-7760, an act relating to state affairs and government, restrictive housing at correctional facilities act.
So this is an item that you sponsored.
Yeah,
Deputy Majority.
I was really appreciative of folks who have been working on issues around the prison and trying to advocate for our inmates, especially the ones who are still, you know, behind the walls, simply because it's like solitary confinement, they say, and with that, you know what I'm trying to say, I sort of envision most of the people who don't get counseling or whatever return to the street without that extra resources. So we see people extra struggling after being traumatized from being, you know, locked up that period of time. And the way the sponsors, and you know, too bad I didn't tell them about tonight, because I think they would have been able to come in, I mean, the people who brought it to us, for us to put it on our docket to sponsor it and create this resolution. I mean, their you know, their advocacy is very, very clear. And it's something that once I heard it, I mean, it devastated me that people are locked up so many hours, and sometimes without, you know, without time limit. You know, it's not like stay 3 days in or whatever. Sometimes they just left, and according to what I've heard. And a lot of the men, you know, are willing to testify on this. Too bad, you know, that would have been an opportunity for us to hear some of the things that we are not. You know, we love it when people tell us what's happening on the outside. It helps us to be a better servant, you know? And so for me, this one is one of the ones that I feel like is very important for all of us, because we see the results of it in our community. We see it when we walk out the door at the city hall. People are struggling with, you know, sometimes mental issues that is triggered, not sometimes triggered by drugs. It's the fact that you're so traumatized from not having that extra counseling or what the case may be. What they're asking is that people be limited to how long they in solitary confinement and fed. Because first of all, they eat very early in the day, 3 o'clock. I must eat all through the night, but no. But you know, the sad part is that abusing the mind and the body as well. I think that's really like a horrible thing, like encampments, that isn't fair. You know what I'm trying to say? I think of that, things I've read in the past of other countries who've done torment. I'm just trying to say torment. Yeah, that kind of thing, that's what I feel. So this is really important.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting this forth, and yeah, I just want to echo the folks who have been advocating for this. I
They had a
don't know.
rally last night.
Yeah,
And I appreciate that, because we, you know, we can intervene at whatever level we can, but their work, the work they're doing is just as important, you know, so it's good when we get something that we can play a part in. You know, I know this is at the state level, and it has to pass through the state level.
well, but thank you for helping to, you know, elevate their voices, because this is very important for all of us. You know, I know folks have been advocating for it. What's the gentleman's name? Who is it? I just want to, is it, how do you pronounce it?
I call him
Jerson?
Jerson, that's what I call
Oh,
him.
her turn?
Yeah, Jerson.
Yeah,
Is that the right
So-
Jerson?
he's probably not listening right now, but thank you
No
for your advocacy.
That's right.
But I'll hear it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's
all
awesome.
right, well, thank you for
Yeah.
sponsoring this, and thank you for your leadership on this, and there's a motion to move this forward.
Councilman Kerwin, second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Kerwin,
Second.
seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Yes, have it. Last item, number 24. So this is a resolution, Councilwoman Fortune, co-sponsored by several of us here, condemning the United States Supreme Court's opinion on Roe v. Wade. So the decision was something that I think a lot of people are very much still reeling from and very affected by. So whatever we could do to kind of put that on the record, that we support women's rights to their own bodies and their choice on abortion. I think it's not a local matter, but it's
I was
something
gonna
that.
ask, well, I was gonna ask that question, does it affect?
So it does, the other thing the resolution does is it closes supports the House and Senate bill that closes that exclusion.
Yeah.
That currently exists, for state insurance. So a few years ago, 2 years ago, we codified Roe v. Wade into law here. So, but there's still these like lingering things, where folks can't access abortion, including, there's some exclusions in the state with health plans, and other things. So the resolution also supports the state House and Senate bills that close those gaps.
Okay, sounds good.
And as we know, those disproportionately impact, you know, women of color. So this is important. Bill.
Yeah, I was gonna say the decision is gonna come out Monday or Tuesday, so maybe you can ask the council president if we can get this on Monday. Special.
The special's already gone out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is precisely why we were trying to have this meeting today. because
Yeah.
The general assembly. Yeah, so this will be on, all of this will be on the docket
16th.
for the meeting on the 16th, so it's right before the session ends, so that's why we were trying to have
We're gonna get a special.
this
We
meeting.
can have this
So,
off docket?
No.
No,
Okay.
no. Can't have anything to be approved off the docket. those
I
are
got
all
you.
referred or received.
So thank you both for being
Thank
here.
you.
So motion to approve item number 24.
Motion.
Yes.
Motion made by
Second.
Councilwoman Harris, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Seeing that there's no further business, can someone
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded, motion made by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, motion seconded by Councilwoman Kerwin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You